Greetings, one and all, from the White Mountains of Arizona. Slightly out of breath, forgive me. We've been Billy Goating it up here at 6,500 feet. So, we're out here for another channeling, and I'm excited for this one. Maybe that's why I'm out of breath. Today, we're going to be learning about Lemuria. I'm super excited for this one because I feel a connection to this society or the civilization or whatever you want to call it, this entity. For a little backstory, Lemuria is believed to be past, potentially, but we're not 100% sure, civilization, possibly in 4D, the fourth dimension. And they coincided with Atlantis. And I think, from my understanding, they may have gone on a higher frequency, while Atlantis and the Atlanteans may have gone on a lower frequency. Not all, of course, but the majority. I don't know. Maybe it's half. I'm not really sure. I don't know. What do I know? And the reason I'm so interested in Lemuria, not because I believe I've had a past life there or anything, but it's in working with the Lemurian crystals. These are very special. In the 70s, these were found in Brazil. They're just sitting on the top of the ground. Hold on, let's get a better thing here. They're sitting on top of the dirt, which is weird. Usually you have to dig deep to find these, but they're sitting on top, and they have these weird striations and steps, which they hadn't really seen before in crystals. And once the energy workers got their hands on them, there's a weird find, they started getting downloads about ancient Lemuria, this past civilization. It was more heart-based, more love-based, less ego-based. And so I believe that these crystals, energetically, vibrationally, metaphysically, are encoded with information about this ancient civilization. There's so much to learn about them, and hopefully we can learn more today from Tara's channeling. We'll see who she picks up.
Okay.
All right, you're connected to someone?
Yes.
What are we connected here today?
Some very blue, slippery, fishy people.
Okay. What dimensional frequency do they reside in, their consciousness?
They said they're 5 and 11.
5 and
It's
11.
the combination of the two is their dimension.
Are they in a dimension all their own?
No, they say there's others there, but they're 5, 11. You need sometimes dual dimensions in order to be.
Okay. Could you say that their higher selves exist in the 11th and they incarnate into the lower?
Yeah, they said also vice versa, which makes things interesting.
Okay. That
They're
is
very
interesting.
nice.
Huh. So humans exist in 2 dimensions, at least.
Yes.
Though we exist in all dimensions, truly.
Yes.
But our consciousnesses tend to reside in 2?
Although you may reside in all dimensions, if you're looking for an origin where the energy is most collected, you would say you're from a particular dimension or a collective of dimensions, although technically you're in all dimensions.
Interesting. What can you tell us about Lemuria and what dimensions it existed in?
5, 11. Same. If you look at the pieces of a human brain under a microscope and you can see the synopsis and metaplasms, you see a collection of energy. If you were to use a radon microscope, you would see a collection of energy where the brain lights up, although you utilize, for the most part, the entire mass. The utilization is mostly relegated to one area of the brain at a time. That's how dimensions work. And that's how our Lemuria work.
Okay. So there was no physicality in Lemuria.
Just a collection of energy, which could be turned into something that looks like a physical form, but is not a true physical form.
So you had representations.
Yes,
How would it appear to our eyes?
water. Water technically has no form. It's just a collection of molecules, gives it that form that you see. Therefore, you say water looks like this, even though it has no form.
Okay, but it still has movement, I guess you would say, and color.
Color is a frequency, movement is an energy.
Right. So if you were to appear in front of me, I could perceive you in some way, at least.
Yes,
Though you're 5-dimensional?
yes,
Wow. Is that a rare feat?
no.
I've not heard of other 5D beings being able to do this, or wanting to do this, I guess maybe is better.
Perhaps the beings you spoke with do not reside in 511. They could be 512, they 57, 53. There's multiple combinations. Therefore, they would appear differently.
Oh, I didn't think this whole thing was complicated enough. So now we can make combos. This is great. So did Lemuria exist on Earth in 5D?
Yes,
Uh, in So linear time doesn't play into the equation.
not necessarily, but we are in your linear time, but we're also outside of your linear time.
Would you be in our past?
Just like we reside in 511, we are your past and your future. You
Okay.
need both to exist in the present.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the Lemurian? Would you say it's a culture?
A community of energy. Yes, a culture.
Okay. What was your objective as a whole?
Expansion. Learning to move our energy, understanding the energy, more ways to manipulate it, expand it, to aid ourselves in our growth, and to teach this growth to others as we can expand out to other dimensions, even though it's technically not our dimension, more like a visitor, to teach. We want to learn, we want to teach, we want to learn and teach.
So, is it fair to say that you quested for ascension?
Yes, we know there's always something more, something higher. There is no top. So it's an endless educational quest. It's fascinating.
So you're a service to others.
How else can you ascend?
Oh, I've heard that you can ascend through the self.
We choose not to do that.
So, do you have a hive mentality?
Yes,
So you're one singular consciousness?
yes, and no. We're very dualistic. I could have a particular personality. What I might consider my friend, has a particular personality different than mine, yet we are the same. And we can share our thoughts amongst each other. Technically, we're one being, but multiple aspects of that being, much like human beings, but you haven't caught on to that yet.
Yeah, that was my next statement. It's exactly like humans, which is probably why you shared the earth with us.
Yes,
So is this earth playing the same lessons over and over?
with variations. Yes.
So it's kind of a school of redundancy until you ascend out of it.
It seems redundant, but it's not always exactly the same. Something shifts, therefore, an entire lesson is learned, but not lesson as in, well, I won't do that again, but more a change in your code and elevation. It may not happen for the entire collective if they do not wish to adapt to that new code, but every time there's new code added because something different was done. So some souls ascend out, some souls continue to play it out again. But this time, let's try it differently and again, but differently.
Until they learn their lesson of ascension.
Until they decide to accept the code and exit the program. It's like being addicted to your video games. I want to get to the next level, but maybe you make the same mistakes and you never get to level 9.
Guilty.
I know.
Oh, okay. Um, so you live from a heart-based perspective, what we would view as a heart-based perspective.
Yes.
You lived as a community. Were there what we would consider as animals in your community?
Again, versions of us. So it's very much the earth that you see with human beings, with plants, with rocks, with animals, but they weren't a separate species to us. Let's say the tiger was just a different version of ourselves. We saw it as ourself living out a different experience. There was much to learn from this, we would say person, not animal, and we communicate with them, much like I'm communicating with you. And this is the difference on earth, is not many see everything as just an aspect of themselves, even if it has different vocal cords or a different genetic scientific makeup. You're all of the same energy, and that's what we had in Lemuria. We were different forms, but the same stuff.
So you are the earth.
Yes.
You are source.
Yes, of course.
Why? What's the need for ascension?
Even source is constantly evolving. It is not a stagnant energy of, I'm all done here. It wants to expand itself. It wants to code more. It wants to see in what ways it could shift its energy and change. It's like a child wanting to try all the different things. They could be happy just being a child, but they want to try all these things. They want to make friends, and what happens when you lose those friends? What happens when you make new friends? It's the experience. That's what source is. Sure, it could be content just being omnipotent, omniscient, but it has an intelligence, and that's branched out to each and every one of these dimensions, these species you call us, communities. It's all pieces of this source just learning and evolving into, well, it's like a stressor it puts on itself in order to become even brighter.
And you, a part of source, have agreed to be a part of source rather than the whole source in order to help source move forward.
Yes, we understand we are individuals and we are able to do what we wish, but at the same time, we're a part of the awe, the brightness, and What a wonderful thing to be connected to. So it makes learning even more fun.
And if you don't feel like learning, you return to source for a break.
You can do whatever you wish. You're still a part of Source. And it's not that you wouldn't be learning, because all the millions and trillions of aspects of you are still learning. So you're still absorbing something, even if your particular aspect of Source is taking a break.
So it's basically like welfare. The lazy source pieces sit at home and learn off the working ones, huh?
Sure, there can even be pieces that wish to not continue. It's still a part of Source, and
Cool.
it's no judgment.
I want to bring it back to Lemuria if we can. I want to learn about these crystals, which are to me so amazing, so full of love and heart healing and information about your civilization, I believe. What can you tell me about these crystals? What are they? Where'd they come from?
Well, they are of your Earth. You can put them under a microscope and see that it has aspects of your Earth in it. However, as you know, as I've said, we're all a part of Source. We're all together. And although we are your future and your past, we can infuse ourselves into the landscape, just as you are already infusing yourself into the landscape as a human collective. That's how you leave residual energy. Our residual energy is within these crystals. It's something that we chose because we felt that the crystal was most closely aligned to our type of energy. And the crystal agreed. Remember, the crystal is also us. The crystal agreed to absorb pieces of our consciousness. Crystals are not the only beings able to hold knowledge. As you know, other things on your planet can do so. But these particular crystals we were drawn to as they were most like your water. And water is what we think of ourselves as. Not quite a solid, not quite a liquid, not quite there, free flowing, strong, expansive. You cannot stop water. Your ego thinks it can. So we chose the Lemurian crystal. But it's redundant because we are Lemurian. So to us, it's just a crystal.
Very precise language. I appreciate that. Okay, well, I mean, oh, I don't want this video to go on too long, but I could question you for hours. Do Tara and I have any connection to Lemuria?
Yes. There are many who, as they watch this video, might be thinking about the water element that I was speaking of. And it might trigger some feelings about water that many are having at this time. Many have been speaking about, I have a connection to water right now. The ego mind might say, well, in your hemisphere, your designation of the earth, as they might say, is in its summer. So, of course, you'd be drawn to water. Why then those that are in the winter are also being drawn to water? The water element is coming up because you are remembering what water stands for us, because you are a part of us. Technically, you're a part of everything, but that collection of energy, you are a part of that collection of energy in the future and in the past. And many are heading towards what we've headed towards many times. Over and over again. It is the same cycle, but not exactly the same. Little tweaks, of course, it's a little bit different this time, but still heading to a very similar outcome. Having to do a lot with the water energy, but also your physical water on the earth. Watch the waters.
Wow. All right. Well, we thank you for speaking with us. We love you, and we're going to take this information to heart. Is there any last message you have for the people before we head out?
We've never left, and we're not confined to a crystal. We are you. Please remember that.
Speaking of water, I absconded with yours to get it out of the shot, so you
Oh,
got to go dry.
oh no, 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 no! I need water.
Well, let's do a quick outro then.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. So, what did you think of that channeling?
Those people were cool.
They're Lemurians, of
They're
course,
like,
cool as
they
ice.
showed up right away. As soon as I was trying to tap in, they were like all there. They're like, okay. And they kept already trying to jump in. I was like, wait, James isn't here yet. They're like, okay, well, we're here, we're ready. They're like ready to start talking.
Forgot to ask about their connection to Mount Shasta and to Brazil.
Oh, well,
Next time.
next time.
I like that entity.
Yeah, so that was fun. I appreciate their energy. I feel very jazzed.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to go surfing now.
Well, I'll go get your life liquid.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I don't want to I do sell these in my shop, so I'll just say that.
Boom.
Maybe Tara will link it. Look at that. Lemurian crystals are the
Heck
best.
yeah. All right.
All right, well, check out my shop if you want Lemurians. Like, share, subscribe, and check out Kittens, Weights, and Tarot if you want your own reading.
Yes, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.